This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Hey, before I get started here, I just wanted to say thank you so much. I've been talking about getting to 600,000 for the last month or so, and we reached it yesterday. I'm now like 600,000 and 601,000 subscribers, and it has been a long journey. I was looking through some of the stats yesterday, and right around Election Day 2016, I only had like 30,000 subs. So it's been quite the road, and it's only because of you and your support of this work, your sharing my videos, liking and commenting, doing all the things that YouTubers talk about that has gotten me here in a not the quickest, but certainly quick for me. I think it's been great. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. Let's talk about the Republican National Committee. Now that the Trump takeover is complete, now that the Trump family has entered, it just tangled its tentacles upon the Republican establishment and the Republican National Committee. And look, that's not something I'm whining about. It is certainly a recipe for disaster. It spells ruin for the Republican Party, and you're not going to hear me whine about that. I'm not going to pull a Nancy Pelosi and say we need a strong Republican Party, because we don't. We need a dead Republican Party is what we need. But now that it's done, now that the Trump business interest is intertwined with the political apparatus of his campaign, and now that they have overtaken the resources of the Republican National Committee, the writing's on the wall. It's a done deal. But as part of this, they're trying to sell to donors why they should continue to give, even though the donors are skittish now because Donald Trump's going to be getting, if you listen to Laura Trump, the lion's share of their money, not down ticket races. And there's so many aspects to this. What they're doing now to try to get people to donate money is to say, if you support election integrity, we have a new election integrity division. And that's what we're going to need your money to fund to make sure everything's on the up and up. They know the election was secure in 2020. They know the election wasn't rigged. In fact, when they talk about election integrity division, they're talking about interfering in the election, using poll intimidation tactics at polling stations, using poll workers or poll watchers or election observers as people who are going to throw up roadblocks, just like they tried to do in 2020. I have two clips here. One is Laura Trump announcing this, making a plea for donors because people are scared. They don't want to give money. And then we're going to talk about who they put in charge as the chief of the election integrity division. And it is a nightmare waiting to happen. It's not dead yet, the Republican Party. And while it's not dead, we need to know what in the hell is going on. First, Laura Trump begging for money and giving donors a reason to still give.
Right now, we have the first ever election integrity division at the RNC. That means massive resources going to this one thing. If people out there, Sean, don't feel like their vote counts, they don't trust the system we have, then we are no longer the country we once thought we were. We will have trained poll watchers, poll observers, poll workers, people in tabulation centers all across this country. If you want to volunteer as a poll watcher, poll worker, or a volunteer lawyer, because we want...
Again, all of those aspects that she's talking about what the election integrity division will do, and why they need that money to pay people or fund their training or a host of different reasons, all of those are to fund election interference. They're not in it for integrity of elections. If they were, they would not have put the person in charge that they chose to. I'm going to read this headline from the Washington Post in two paragraphs to introduce to you a name you're familiar with, and then we're going to play a clip of her from a couple of years ago where she's talking about the possibility of reinstalling Donald Trump as president even after Joe Biden had been sworn in and had been serving as president for months. First, the Washington Post headline here, Trump takes control of the RNC with mass layoffs restructuring. The move has raised fears among some former officials about the party's support for down-ballot candidates. And then it's deep in the article. I will link this below for you to read. But this is the person they've installed to lead the movement of election integrity, Christina Bobb. Additionally, La Civita is installing Christina Bobb, a former OAN reporter who has espoused false claims that the 2020 election was stolen. As senior counsel for election integrity, Bobb is the author of a book called Stealing Your Vote, the Inside Story of the 2020 Election and What It Means for 2024, and promoted the audit of Arizona elections. Quote, I'm honored to join the RNC and thrilled the new leadership is focused on election integrity, Bobb said in a statement. I look forward to working to secure our elections and restore confidence in the process. What does it say about the Republican? I mean, look, a lot of this is already information we know. You shouldn't be shocked. You shouldn't be surprised, but you should be aware, acutely aware. You should be reminded, and you should remind others of just how seriously, I keep doing the Don Jr. air quotes, how seriously or unseriously the Republican Party is taking election integrity. Here's a clip from a few years ago while she was spelling out the detailed plan that she seemed to have a full grasp on of how they planned to reinstall extra constitutionally, extra democratically Donald Trump to the White House even after Joe Biden was president.
Evidence that Joe Biden side cheated. So they could withdraw their electors or they could actually decide to award Trump electors, although I would anticipate they would probably just withdraw the electors. And if that happens from 3 different states, 3 different resolutions go into Congress, and I'm summarizing this.
Right.
It's a complicated issue, but it would have to go into the U.S. Congress to decide whether they want to accept the resolutions, whether they want to act on them or not. So it's a complex issue that needs to be handled complexly by different state legislatures and the U.S. Congress. And I actually think that it's designed well because you don't want this to be something that you can quickly, easily
Correct.
overturn elections. It needs to be something that you need many, many elected officials to take action on. You have to have the majority of, in this situation, the majority of 3 different legislatures say, oh, you know what, we got it wrong, then Congress. So it's a complex issue. I don't know that this Congress would take action on it. However, after 22, if we replace them, there might be. Who knows?
Like you said, it's never been done before,
Right.
but that's why this primary coming up in November is so, the midterms rather, is so important.
Yeah.
It's important that we get it right and we try to call out.
One, all of that is nonsense. Once a president has been elected and the vote has been certified and the inauguration takes place and the individual sworn into office, that's the president. There is no mechanism by which you can reinsert a loser into that office. There is no constitutional mechanism. There is no democratic mechanism to do so. She's a liar. Or maybe she's a true believer and a conspiracy theorist. Either way, we don't want her as chief counsel for election integrity for one of our 2 major political parties. I also hear that she's a former Marine, which is extra disheartening that we have someone dedicated to the prospect of ending democracy in America who shared my uniform. Not great. This is where we are with the Republican Party today. They tell you that it is sunshiny and beautiful outside while there's a hurricane. They tell you they're going to support elections and support the democratic representative government that we have all grown to enjoy, yet they install this person as the election integrity general counsel. Seems like a problem, does it not? I'd love your opinion on this. You can leave a comment below. That would be great. You can also call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, as always, daily@dollemore.com. I'd love to hear from you. If you appreciate what I do and you want to help support this work on a video by video basis, on a monthly basis, click the join button below this YouTube video to become a channel member. For $2 a month, you can help support this work, help produce these videos, and take part in spreading this message. You can also go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. All those are great ways to help support this work. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore on Twitter and Instagram and Threads and TikTok and all of them. Can you tell I'm tired of saying it? Because I'm tired of saying it. At Dollemore. Maybe I'll just stop saying it. I'd love to see you there. Anyway, be genuine and take care of one another.